again. Today, before starting the class, as usual, let's see what's the thought of the day. And the thought of the day is, it's not about the ideas, but it's about making ideas happen. So, linking today's thought with our lesson, let's see what is the next idea in Sadao's mind. And was he able to materialize it? So let's continue with the chapter, The Enemy, from your Vistas. We are on page number 39. The fourth paragraph. In the afternoon, the second thing happened. Hana, working hard on unaccustomed labor, saw a messenger come to the door in official uniform. So now in the afternoon, Hana was working on unaccustomed, something she was not used to. Why? Because earlier there were servants in the house who would do the work in the house. But now since they have left, Hana was supposed to do each and every work. And obviously they could not hire a new servant, because then it would be difficult whether that new servant would really be trustworthy or no. So they did not think of hiring a new servant until the stranger, the American, the enemy was in the house. So while she was doing her work, she saw a messenger coming wearing a uniform. He was in his uniform. The servants must have told already. She ran to Sadao, gasping, unable to utter a word. But by then, the messenger had simply followed her through the garden, and there he stood. She pointed at him helpless. So, looking at the messenger, Hana was very scared. She thought that these servants who had left the house, they had reported about the enemy. And so the messenger might have come with a message calling them, and after that they would be punished. So she ran towards Sadao to inform him about the coming of the messenger. But she is so scared that she is not able to speak, unable to take proper breaths, and unable to speak. By the time the messenger had already followed her and he had reached. So she could not speak anything but only point out towards the messenger to tell Sadao that there is a messenger who had come. Sadao looked up from his book. He was in his office, the other partition of which was thrown open to the garden from the southern sunshine. So now Sadao was in his office. He was reading some book, and as he saw Hana, he looked up and he had seen the messenger also. What is it? He asked the messenger, and then he rose, seeing the man's uniform. You are to come to the palace, the man said. The old general is in pain again. So, looking at the uniform, he was able to understand from where the messenger had come. But he asked, what is the problem? What is the thing? Why does he come here? To which the messenger replies that the old general, you remember, General Takayama? Yes. So, he is in pain, he is suffering. So, you need to come with me immediately. He needs you. Oh, Hana breathed. Is that all? So, after hearing this, Hana takes a sigh of relief. She is relaxed and she says, okay, it's only that much. Fine. All the messenger exclaimed, is it not enough? So the messenger is also surprised to see Hana behave in this way. And he says, all? Is this not enough? You want me to speak something else? Indeed it is, she replied. I am very sorry. So, Hana tries to conceal her thoughts, tries to conceal her things that is going on in her mind, and she says, that's it. I'm very sorry. Maybe I was occupied with some other things, so I behaved that way. I'm very sorry for that. When Sadao came to say goodbye, She was in the kitchen, but doing nothing. The children were asleep, and she sat merely resting for a moment, more exhausted from her fright than from her. So, she moved to the kitchen. She was sitting there when Sadao entered into the kitchen. Both the children were sleeping. She was not doing any work, but she looked exhausted. She looked very tired. Not doing the work that she was tired, but she was tired because of the fear that she had on seeing the messenger. So, I thought they had come to arrest you, she said. He gazed down in her anxious eyes. I must get rid of this man for your sake, he said in distress. Somehow, I must get rid of him. Sadao goes to see the general. Now Sadao, as we have seen right from the beginning of the chapter, he loves his wife very much. He loves his children. His wife is very dear to him. He cannot stand a thing that is troubling his wife. So he's looking into her eyes and he says, I need to get rid of this man. This man needs to be sent away from our house soon for you, for your sake, so that you can be relaxed, so that you are out of your fears all the time that is troubling you. Sadao goes to see the general. Of course, the general said weakly, I understand fully, but that is because I once took a degree in Princeton, so few Japanese have. I care nothing for the man, Excellency, Sadao said, but having operated on him with such success. So now here what happens? Sadao confesses everything. He tells everything to the general. He shares, thinking that general may find out some way for him. Right? He may suggest something to him. So he tells everything. And then general also says, yes, I can understand you. Because I had also been to a place, right, where there were very few Japanese people. Then he says that I don't care for this man. Sadao says that I am not emotionally bonded to this man. But it's only because he was suffering, and as a doctor it was my responsibility to save his life because I could do it. And so I operated on him and the operation was successful. Yes, the general said, it only makes me feel you more indispensable to me. Evidently, you can save anyone. You are so skilled. You say you think I can stand one more such attack as I have had today. So, the general, he says, I know, I trust you. And after listening to this, what you have told me now, this is about the American, about the enemy, I trust you more. Right? I cannot allow you to move away from me, leaving me here, because I know I have a faith in you that you are the only person who can save me. So here, when we are witnessing this conversation, we can see a selfish nature of the general. Right? Who is supposed to be loyal and faithful and patriotic towards his country, but he thinks more about himself and his life. Sadao is not allowed to move along with the troop. Why? Because he needs Sadao to treat himself. And so he keeps Sadao here with him, which shows his selfish and self-centered nature. No more than once, Sadao said. Then certainly I can allow nothing to happen to you, the general said with anxiety. His long pale Japanese face became expressionless, which meant that he was in a deep thought. So now they are talking and then they say, okay, only one man is there, so we'll try to get rid of him. And be sure, I will not let anything happen to you. Your life will not be in danger. I'll try everything to save you. And why does General really want to save Sadao? It's only because of his own personal interest. Because he knew that it is only Sadao who would be able to save his life. Because Sadao is such a skilled surgeon. Okay? Now moving over. So he promises Sadao that nothing will happen to you. You cannot be arrested, the general said, closing his eyes. Suppose you were condemned to death and the next day I had to have my operation. So general is lying and he closes his eyes and he says, you cannot be arrested. And imagine if you are arrested and they condemn you for your life, right? They punish you that you should be killed, you should be dead. And immediately if next day something happens to me, what will happen to me? So this again shows that he is not worried about Sadao, but he is worried about himself, his life, and because of that he wants to save Sadao. And he agrees to do anything and everything for saving him. There are other surgeons, Excellency, Sadao suggested. None I trust, the general replied. The best ones have been trained by Germans and would consider the operation successful even if I died. So when the general says nothing can happen, and if someday put you to death, what will happen to me if next day I am serious, I need a surgeon? To which Sadao says that there are not many surgeons. But general says no one like you. I only trust you and nobody else. So he says that Germans and Americans, these both people are difficult to get combined. And if this would have happened, would you not do something to your patient, that is the enemy? You would have killed him, but you could not do it. And now if the same thing happens, even you would not be able to murder me also. And then he starts laughing over this joke. Sadao smiled. I am not quite sure, he said, but for your sake I would be willing to try, Excellency. And then he says, see, I am not very sure whether I would be able to kill or not, but for your goodwill, for your wish, I would try to do that. The general shook his head. I had rather not be the test case, he said. He felt suddenly weak and overwhelmed with the cares of his life as an official in times such as these, when repeated victory brought great responsibilities all over the South Pacific. So now they are discussing about the life-saving things and how Sadao would be fulfilling his duties. It is very unfortunate that this man should have washed up on your doorstep, he said irritably. So he said, it's so unfortunate that this man had to be washed away, carried away from so far place, and it had to reach to your doorstep. Why couldn't he choose some other doorstep or some other place? But he has reached to your place, your house. I feel it so myself, Sadao said gently. And Sadao says that I agree to you. Even I feel why he has to come to my place. Why not some other place he could have chosen? It would be best if he could be quietly killed, the general said. Not by you, but by someone who does not know him. So now as general and he was talking and they were thinking of killing, so Sadao says, I will try to kill him. But then now general says, it is better to kill him quietly, but you should not do it. It should be done by somebody else who doesn't know him or you don't know him. I have my own private assassins. So he says, I have people who murder. I have my own private assassins. Suppose I send 2 of them to your house tonight, or better any night, you need know nothing about it. It is now warm. What would be more natural than that you should leave the outer partition of the white man's room open to the garden while he sleeps? So now they are plotting, they are planning to kill the American. And what does General say? That I may send 2 assassins tonight or any other night, if not today. And because it's a warm season, summer season, so easily what you could do, you could keep the door open of his room. And then my people will come and they will kill him. Certainly it would be very natural, Sadao agreed. In fact, it is so left open every night. So Sadao says, oh, that would be perfectly nice, a very good thing. In fact, why I had to leave the door open? The door is every day left open. It is already open in the night. Good, the general said, yawning. They are very capable assassins. They make no noise and they know the trick of inward bleeding. If you like, I can even have them remove the body. So then they both agree to it, and then general says, he's praising the assassins, the murderers, that they are very skilled. And what do they do? It is not necessary that they stab him or shoot him. They'll kill him in such a way that there will be an internal bleeding and internal injury and he will be killed. And if you want, they will carry out his dead body also. Sadao considered that perhaps would be best. Excellency, he agreed, thinking of Hana. So now he agreed that would be better, the best thing, that his dead body is also taken at the same time, because he didn't wanted Hana again to witness that dead body and again get troubled emotionally, mentally. He left the general's presence then and went home, thinking over the plan. In this way, the whole thing would be taken out of his hands. He would tell Hana nothing, since she would be timid at the idea of assassins in the house, and yet certainly such persons were essential in an absolute state such as Japan was. How else could rulers deal with those who opposed them? So when he is moving towards his house, he is thinking about the plan that he had discussed with general. That he had discussed with general. Right? But he made sure that he is not going to tell anything about it to Hana. Why? Because Hana would not agree to it, that some assassins would enter into the house and kill somebody. She would not like this idea. So she would not allow, and therefore he decides not to share this thing with Hana. He refused to allow anything but reason to be the atmosphere of his mind as he went into the room where the American was in bed. So now he doesn't want to share anything with Hana, and he enters into the American's room. But as he opened the door, to his surprise, he found the young man out of bed and preparing to go into the garden. "What is this?" he exclaimed. "Who gave you permission to leave your room?" "I am not used to waiting for permission," Tom said gaily. "Gosh, I feel pretty good again, but will the muscles on the side always feel stiff?" So as Sadao enters into the room of the enemy, he sees that enemy is getting ready to walk out of the house towards the garden. And then he is asking, "Who gave you permission to get up and move out?" To which the boy answers, "I am not used to permission. I am not waiting for somebody's permission. I am free to behave myself. And while doing this, maybe he has some pain." So he is asking, how long this stiffness will be there? Is it going to get suppressed someday or no? "Is it so?" Sadao inquired, surprised. He forgot all else. "Now, I thought I had provided against it," he murmured. He lifted the edge of the man's shirt and gazed at the healing. So as soon as the boy talks about his wound, about his pain, Sadao again forgets everything. The thoughts which he had carried from the general's home till his home. He forgets everything, and there's again the doctor that pops out. Right? And then he starts examining the wound by lifting his shirt. Scar. Massage may do it, he said, if exercise does not. So he says maybe the stiffness will go with the help of massage if exercise is not helping. It won't bother me much, the young man said. His young face was gaunt under the stubbly blonde beard. Such doctor, I've got something I want to say to you. If I hadn't met a Jap like you, well, I wouldn't be alive today. I know that. So now he says, fine, this doesn't bother me much. It's not troubling me that much. The pain is not so severe. And what I want to say something to you. I want to share my thoughts with you. That if I would have not met a Japanese like you, Jap is Japanese. If I would not have met a Japanese person like you, I am sure I would have lost my life. I would have died. So I thank you so much. Sadao bowed, but he could not speak. So just showing respect. Sure, I know that, Tom went on warmly. His big thin hands gripping a chair were white at the knuckles. I guess if all the Japs were like you, there wouldn't have been a war. So he's trying to hold the chair and sit down maybe. And then he says that if all the Japanese people would have been like you, then there would have been no possibility of this war. There would have been no war between the Americans and the Japanese. Perhaps, Sadao said with difficulty, and now I think you had better to go back to bed. So, Sadao is not completely in agreement to the American, the enemy, and then he just says perhaps maybe, and now it is time for you to go to bed, he says. He helped the boy back into the bed and then bowed. Good night, he said. Sadao slept badly that night. Time and time again he woke, thinking he heard a rustling of footsteps, the sound of a twig broken or a stone displaced in the garden, a noise such as men might make who carry a burden. So that night, Sadao could not sleep properly. He was disturbed. He would get up at every little sound or noise that would be made in the garden, thinking that somebody is entering and somebody is carrying heavy weight. So whatever noise was coming, he was trying to relate it that way, thinking that the general had sent the assassins today and those assassins might have killed the boy, the enemy. The next morning, he made the excuse to go first into the guest room. If the American were gone, he then could simply tell Hana that so the general had directed. But when he opened the door, he saw at once that there on the pillow was a shaggy blonde head. So next morning, he doesn't allow Hana to go to the enemy's room. He says, he makes an excuse and he himself goes first, in order to see that maybe the plan that they had made is executed and it is successful. But he is shocked, he is surprised. When he enters into the room, he sees the boy, the blonde, the golden color hair boy was still there on the pillow. He was sleeping there. He could hear the peaceful breathing of sleep and he closed the door again quietly. He is asleep, he told Hana. He is almost well to sleep like that. So when he sees the boy sleeping, he doesn't want to disturb him. He closes the door and he even informs Hana that he is sleeping. Do not disturb. What shall we do with him? Hana whispered her old refrain. So Hana's refrain is a repetition of thought. Right? Refrain is also a literary device. It's a poetic device wherein the lines are repeated. Right? So this is refrain. Now she is refrained her old refrain. That is, she is again asking the same thing. What are we going to do with him? Sadao shook his head. I must decide in a day or two, he promised. So he's saying, okay, I'll decide. I'll tell you in a day or two, I'll decide what we're going to do with this man. But certainly he thought the second night must be the night. There rose a wind that night, and he listened to the sounds of bending bows and whistling partitions. So second night also he is feeling the same things. Right? He could feel the same thing that he had felt the earlier night. Anna woke too. Ought we not to go and close the sick man's partition? She asked. So now what has happened? Maybe the wind is blowing. So Anna gets up and she says, should we not go and close the partition, close the door of his room? No, Sadao said. He is able now to do it for himself. So Sadao does not tell her that it has been kept open purposely, deliberately. So he says, you don't need to go now. He is fit enough, he is well enough, and he can do it himself if he feels, if he wants. But the next morning the American was still there. Then the third night, of course, must be the night. The wind changed to quiet rain, and the garden was full of the sound of dripping eaves and running springs. Sadao slept a little better, but he woke up at the second of a crash and leaped to his feet. So the third night came. Sadao thought maybe today General will send his assassins. And now the weather has changed, it was raining. So something crashed, something fell down, and Sadao immediately got up from his sleep. He stood up. What was that? Anna cried. The baby woke at her voice and began to wail. I must go and see. So the sound was so loud that Sadao got up, Anna got up, and even the baby got up and he started crying. But he held her and would not let her move. And Anna wanted to go and see what happened outside, but Sadao did not allow her to move. Sadao, she cried, what is the matter with you? Don't go, he muttered, don't go. So now the wife understands something is wrong, something is fishy, and she is asking, what is the matter? Sadao does not say anything but only repeats his word. He only mutters, softly, quietly he speaks, don't go, don't go. His terror infected her and she stood breathless, waiting. There was only silence. Together they crept back into the bed, the baby between them. So his terror infected her. So she could see a terror, a fear on his face, which troubled her. But slowly they both went back to sleep along with the baby. Yet when he opened the door of the guest room in the morning, there was the young man. He was very gay and had already washed and was now on his feet. He had asked for a razor yesterday and had shaved himself, and today there was a faint color in his cheeks. So next morning again when Sadao went to the enemy's room, he saw he was still there, he was safe. And today he looked more handsome, more smart. He was regaining his health, so the pale color of his cheeks, of his face was also now regaining its original color. I am well, he said joyously. So he shows his happiness. The enemy shows his happiness and he says, I feel better today, I am very good today. Sadao drew his kimono round his weary body. He could not, he decided suddenly, go through another night. It was not that he cared for this young man's life. No, simply it was not worth the strain. So now Sadao is trying to put his dress, kimono is a traditional Japanese dress. So he tries to put his dress in proper place and then he makes up his mind. He won't wait for another night. It's not that he has some feelings for this man, the enemy, one more troubled night he doesn't want to spend. So that's all for today. We'll continue in our next class with the same thing. Till then, keep learning, keep experiencing, and keep thinking about ideas, but really which you can materialize. Thank you. Bye-bye.